Well, Angela, tell them a little bit about yourself. You're running for Congress in Georgia right now, right?
I'm running for Congress in Georgia in the 5th District against John Lewis. I am from Atlanta, been there most of my life. Most of you may know my story from a while back. I spent some time in prison for a nonviolent charge. Ended up giving birth to my daughter, chained to a bed, came home, went through a lot of trials and tribulations to get to where I am today. Ended up using my story to not only pass the First Step Act, but also make it illegal for women to be chained during childbirth. I ended up getting a full pardon from the president, and now I'm running for Congress to use my story, to use my experiences, and bring hope to our people.
You got a pardon from President Trump?
Full pardon from President Trump.
Now,
do you think that you would be a Trump? Do you think you would be a Trump supporter if he hadn't pardoned you?
I've supported Trump before I got a pardon.
And why do you support Trump? What values do you see in Trump that make you a supporter?
I support his policies. He's the first president that's for pro-life. There are, nearly 60 million Black babies that have been aborted since Roe v. Wade passed. And if we talk about Black Lives Matter, then we know that Black Lives Matter even in the womb. He also signed the most historic criminal justice reform that I had a part of, and we freed over 7,000 people from prison. 91% of them were Black. He's also permanently funded HBCUs. He also lifted the federal ban that was against faith-based HBCUs. Before COVID hit, we had the lowest Black unemployment. The fact that the man was willing to listen to someone like me and allow me to influence him to not only pass the First Step Act, but make it illegal for women to give birth in chains, I realized that this man is not the man that they're proclaiming him to be.
I don't have any problem with a person voting their interests. I saw a quote you said. You said, I credit President Trump for being my inspiration. Before she became active in conservative politics, I was a lifelong Democrat just because. Well, monkey see, monkey do. I was just doing everything that my family was doing. I guess we had all been duped. So what made you, get away from the Democratic Party?
Well, my own story, when I came home from prison, I was a convicted felon. I was a single mother. I had 4 children waiting for me. They gave me a $25 check and a bus ticket and said, here, go start your life over. Well, we had absolutely nowhere to go. I couldn't get the welfare that I'd been able to get before. I couldn't get any housing assistance. So I had to figure out how I was going to make it. I had a God-given gift, which was writing. So I wrote my life story. From there, I went on to being a national best-selling author and then starting my own publishing company. Not only that, the part about being a single mother, remembering when I was getting those benefits and how Section 8 said, as a single mother, we'll help you and your children, but the father can't live in the home. Or when I was receiving welfare, they'll say, okay, you'll get this certain amount of money at the beginning every month, but you can only make a certain amount. It wasn't until I was denied government benefits and nobody wanted to help me that I discovered my greatness. And so this road to entrepreneurship is how I eventually became free. And I know if we really want to be free as a people, we got to reduce poverty. Because once we reduce poverty, we reduce crime. We need more entrepreneurs. And if I can do it, anybody can do it.
You can do that as part of any party, though, or being an independent. You don't have to be a part of a party to do that, though, right?
Well, for me personally, I'm a conservative because I don't believe in handouts. I believe in hand-ups. When we talk about the Democratic Party, it's a large focus on welfare, right? People only need welfare for a certain amount of time. We don't need to become lifelong welfare recipients. I'm also not.
Oh, we lost you. There we go.
I'm sorry. I'm also not a Democrat because of abortion. This is my thing. Roe v. Wade was passed off of a lie. As of right now, where we are, we're always crying about being an oppressed minority, but we are always going to be an oppressed minority if we continue to abort our offspring. Realizing that we are not only killing our own army, but also aborting our votes. So what I would like to do as a congressman, because I promise you, everybody is voting for our children to die on the Democrat side. I would love to bring balance. I would love to give opportunity to women, because look, You can't tell me that the only way I can survive or be successful is by having an abortion when I'm a woman that came home from prison and raised 4 kids on my own, which are all a blessing. So if we want them to value our lives, then we need to begin to value the lives of our offspring. My one vote on the floor, the only thing it's going to do is bring balance, because at the end of the day, I want to save Black life. Now, that is no excuse for us to say we are going to support, and it's documented that this is a racist organization.
Because you believe that doesn't make it that other women have to believe that. You can believe that you're against abortion, and that's fine. You can be against abortion, but you can't make another woman do what she wants to do with her body.
I don't think she's trying to make them.
Why does the Democrat Party have to pay for it? Why do us as pro-lifers, people that believe in life and want your children to live, your future children to live, why do our tax dollars have to pay for those children to be slaughtered? I do not support the Democrat Party. If you can't give Black women another option besides abortion, and if every time we come up as a Black people, as a community on the floor, the only thing we're being offered is free access to abortion, then that tells me you don't really care about Black life. But I would love to talk about unemployment and what I would like to do for the District of Georgia.
We definitely gonna get there, Angela. I want to ask you one question though. As you raised your son as a liberal, so as your views
I
changed,
didn't.
You didn't? How'd you raise your son?
I didn't necessarily push any politics. I didn't necessarily.
Oh, no. I don't mean on him.
So you let him be what he wanted to be.
Yeah, I don't mean on him.
He's a gay male. I would never ever encourage him to be a female. You can be gay and still be a man.
Yeah, no, what I meant was your views was that of a liberal. So as your views switched to conservative, did that change?
No, actually,
parented?
to be completely honest, my views were always that of conservative, which most Black people are. You understand? But I was always voting Democrat because we just had this monolithic thought process, and we just went ahead with it because that's what everyone else was doing. But when it came to traditional family values, when it came to being entrepreneurs, hand up, not hand out, starting your own business, when it came to things like faith, the freedom of religious rights, those things, I had always had that mindset, but was still voting Democrat, voting against my own interests.
Well, let's talk about unemployment, because your president, Donald Trump, is the reason that 40 million people are unemployed right now because of his response to coronavirus.
Well, I would disagree. I would disagree. I would disagree. But let's talk about this.
Are you disagreeing about his response to the coronavirus? What do you disagree about?
Well, let's talk about his response. What about his response did you guys have an issue with?
I mean, the fact that he denied it in February and said that, it was only one case.
Well, in January, he tried to close the borders against China, and they called him a racist and a xenophobe and a bigot and everything else. And then he actually did close the borders to China. Not only that, he mentioned COVID at his State of the Union speech on February 4th, the one that Nancy Pelosi ripped up. And then she went to Chinatown saying that COVID wasn't a big issue. So I think that because this is something that has happened, this is his first time in presidency, I'm not here to defend him. I know a lot of times he say things that are wild. I'm more focused on his policies, but I do think that he handled it as best as he could and his administration, especially if we look at what's happening now. I have to question the validity of COVID when we have all of these Democrat leaders that were telling us it wasn't safe for us to go to church, it wasn't safe for us to open our businesses, but yet we see them all lined up at a funeral with 3,000 people after several people have lost their loved ones and wasn't even able to bury them. So I have to question the validity of it at this point.
And you don't think Donald Trump is a racist?
Why would I think Donald Trump is a racist when I know his history? Before Donald Trump ran for president, no one thought he was a racist.
They sure
you had
did.
I don't know that that's true. So let's talk about that. Let's get factual. And again, I want to talk about what I want to do for the District of Georgia. I don't want to spend up too much time trying to defend Donald Trump, but that was an issue about him not renting to people that had Section 8. Now, I got a brother who has property and is not going to rent to people on Section 8. I know people in my own community. I know people that wouldn't rent to me when I was on Section 8. So then they talk about the Central Park 5. Why did Donald Trump go out of his way to run these ads? And guess what my response is to that? Guess what my response is to that? Guess what my response is to that? Y'all more mad at Donald Trump than y'all mad at Antron's own daddy for making him confess. First of all, I got an issue with the daddy. Y'all mad at Trump. I want to know why his father made him confess and knew that it was a lie. Second of all, those 5 men, God bless them, and I fight for criminal justice reform. I'm glad they are free. I'm also glad that they have been compensated. But I also know that Donald Trump has freed nearly 7,000 people, 91% of them Black. I also know that Joe Biden has not apologized for his 94 crime bill and will not apologize for it, which has thousands of Black men in prison right now that I am fighting for to be free. So how are you more upset about Trump, about 5, than you are about Joe Biden, which lets the majority of Black America incarcerated?
I would like it to stay on track, though. If we're talking about Trump, instead of comparing and talking about other people, we're talking about just Trump here. If we're going to talk about that, instead of saying, well, why didn't this person do that, or why didn't this person do that?
We need to discuss the hypocrisy.
That's like a Black Lives Matter. Then you say, well, what about Black on Black crime?
I mean, if it's a Black Lives Matter, be worried about what really impacts Black people, which is mass incarceration, not those 5 men. Because those 5 men are home. Let's talk about our brothers and sisters that's incarcerated right now that we need to get out.
We can get into that, but that
I would definitely
Donald
push
Trump is a racist. The fact that he wouldn't let Black people rent into the building, the fact that he
I don't believe that he's a racist.
for these innocent Black people that never apologize for it.
When Jennifer Hudson's family was murdered,
we let you speak. You gotta let us speak too. You can't speak over us when we're speaking, man.
But y'all lying.
We are all talking about.
You are lying.
You can't speak.
You are lying.
Well, Angela,
because you want to sit up here and say.
Well, Angela, in 1973, an employee, when he got sued, an employee did quote in court documents that they were told to rent only to Jews and executives. When there was a lawsuit against Trump.
Nothing about Section 8.
Do with Section 8.
Focused on 39 properties.
Is this around the same time? So is this around the same time that he helped Jesse Jackson start the Rainbow Push Coalition? Is this the same time he gave him a floor on a 10th floor in the Empire State Building and gave him $1 million to help this organization that still helps us? So are we talking about an issue with one employee? Maybe he got upset. Maybe he said something. We're going to stay focused on the past. Can we talk about what Donald Trump is doing right now for Black people? Because y'all talking about.
Listen, there's been there's been a long history of racist acts. It's not just one thing.
That Obama, okay. So you want to sit up?
Obama's not running for president.
Racist, but he did run for president. Trump is the president right now and has done more for Black people.
So you're saying Obama's a racist?
8 years. I'm saying Trump did more for Obama Trump did more for Black America than Obama did in 8 years that he was in office.